Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to return to the Greystones out in San Jose, California, that has been putting up just amazing covers of various 70s and 80s classics, mostly over the last year or so. They're really just getting going, at least in terms of YouTube. My understanding is they've actually been a band a little bit longer than that. And so they've been working on this. Their talent has been showing itself very clearly to us as we've watched things like the Logical song, Taking It to the Streets. We've also looked at a couple of Sade covers that they've done. All amazing. So we want to continue that journey today with their latest upload, which is of the Eagles' I Can't Tell You Why. Now, this was a big hit in 1979. It was the last regular Eagles album before they broke up for, I think, 14 years or so. It's also the first album where Timothy B. Schmit shows up to sing and to play bass. He brought this song with him, and this was the one lead vocal that he did for the band back in their original run. So in that way, it's a little bit unique. So it's somewhat his song. There were other big hits on the album too, but this was a particularly big one, and it's probably one of my more favorite Eagles songs. So I'm really excited to see what the kids have done with this one. In their description, they say, "The Eagles are one of the most played and beloved bands ever, and we love them as much as any fan. I Can't Tell You Why is a timeless classic written by Timothy B. Schmit, Glenn Frey, and Don Henley." Yep, those two came in and helped finish the song once Timothy brought it in. They say, "We rehearsed this song for 2 weeks. Then on video day, we set the cameras up in our rehearsal space and spent 30 minutes running the song from beginning to end 4 times in a row." Very good. And they say, "What you are hearing here is the third pass from beginning to end. We then added a couple passes with background vocals, strings, and organ." Now, I'm glad they mentioned that because we have seen some of the comments come up from people saying, I'm hearing a little bit more than what's on stage, because everything else we've looked at so far has been a live performance over at Santana Row, which is a mall, I believe, in the middle of San Jose. And so people had that question. Some of them were saying, they're just lip syncing, this, that, the other thing. Well, no, actually, they've been very open about how they do this. Whenever you see them live, they're actually performing live. They may go back and do a little touch-up, but by and large, it's a live performance. I also heard somebody say something about auto-tune, and I can tell you just from my own hearing, I know what auto-tune sounds like. I'm actually a follower of Phil over at Wings of Pegasus, and that's his main topic over on his channel is what vocals are being re-released that have been auto-tuned. I mean, they even did this with the Beatles on Let It Be Naked, travesty. So I know all about that, and I don't hear any auto-tune in their performances. I think that the two singers are just both extremely talented and can stay on key. I mean, that's how we used to do it in the old days. Like Linda Ronstadt, never any auto-tune. It didn't exist, but she didn't need it. So hopefully nobody's trying to auto-tune her now. I hope the record companies know to leave that alone. But anyway, I just thought that was worth mentioning. So they may add an instrument or two, but for the most part, these are real performances. So if that was a concern, don't be concerned. And it'll be interesting to see them going through it in the rehearsal space. Kind of a new venue for us to watch them. So Adrian, do you have any thoughts ahead about what we've seen so far from the Greystones?
They're incredible. I mean, they're very faithful to the songs that they cover. They just play it perfectly.
Yeah, they get the feel. I mean, they know what they're doing. You can tell they know what they are doing, and they've been putting in the work, So we get to enjoy the results of that. Folks, if you're not subscribed yet, we have some pretty good stuff on this channel, I think. And as people have discovered it through our Greystones reactions, they're just blowing up our back catalog. We have so many different types of bands, in case you weren't aware. So go ahead and take a look. All right, let's check this out.
All right.
I'm Grayson.
And I'm Max.
On behalf of the Greystones, we wanted to say thank you so much for listening to the music that we put up.
We work really hard to create these videos, and we are so happy that you guys enjoy them.
Some of you have asked how to support us on our musical journey.
So we found a way for you guys to tip us if you'd like to. We will put the link in the description below.
Whether you tip us or not, we're just so happy that you guys have listened to the music.
Thank you for listening.
Classy message at the end there.
Yeah, you can tell at the end of the video, they appreciate the fans and viewers tremendously.
Yeah, they do. They do. And it also kind of underlined for us, since we've never actually heard them speak before. Yes, these are kids. These are kids. And the beginning of the video, I liked the kind of the informal few seconds where they were getting things together. I'm not going to lie, I had a little bit of a chuckle to myself when I saw that both bassist Max and then the guitar player, who I want to get into in a moment, both of them, their feet didn't quite hit the floor as they're sitting on those piano benches or whatever they are to play. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Boy, this is bringing back memories of being a kid and starting a band and all that. Really, really wonderful guitar playing. We finally get to see some of the guitar player's chops, where he's normally been kind of back in the mix a little bit on these other songs that we've watched. I mean, we can hear him, but there's not a lot going on. And in here, he's got a very prominent part, especially in that coda. I had actually forgotten how many little identifying markers there are in that coda, like little guitar licks and things that if they're not there, you might actually notice they're not there. And sounded to me like he got them all. And I like the interplay between the bass and the guitar in that section. And I like the touch that the guitar player has. That was a wonderful, very clean performance. He's hitting those string bends pretty well. And I mean, some of those string bends, I think they might have gone up a total of 3 half steps, so it starts up, like up there. So it starts here and then it goes up there. I mean, that's not the actual key, but that's how far he's bending it, which is pretty far. So you must have some light strings on that thing. But, I loved the performance. Everything else was spot on. I mean, the singer there, very, very nice. She's got a great voice. I remember when we were doing the Sade, I couldn't help but think, she sounds like Sade, honestly. She's kind of got the same vocal tone and feel, and you could hear it there too. Yeah, Timothy is a very high singer, so it made perfect sense that she took that lead. Everything else, drums, perfect. Keys, real nice. Everything right there.
Mind-blowingly talented and obviously very serious about what they're doing.
Yeah, which is great to see. Honestly.
They're definitely not the type that become musicians so they don't have to do real work. They work very hard, and you can tell.
They're doing everything right now, and it looks like they're having a blast, honestly, and I love that. Even with a somber song like this, you can feel, they're feeling good about it. Like, this is something they really enjoy doing with their time, and they're really making the most of it. So we want to wish them congratulations. And congratulations, Grayson and Max, as you've introduced yourself in the end there. Just want to say thanks very much for these performances. We are really enjoying them, and so are so many other people. As a matter of fact, we just had our very first 100,000 view video. And guess what it was? It was the Greystones' Logical Song. So thanks very much for that. But also, it just means that you've struck a nerve, So keep up the good work. Really appreciate your efforts. Keep it going. And we look forward to whatever else is coming down the road. All right. Adrian, you have any other thoughts you want to pass along?
Pretty much ditto, actually. I look forward to seeing the next video.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well done, guys and girl. And everybody who wasn't there, too. Kudos to you as well. We've seen you. And folks, why don't you let us know what you thought of this? Give us your thoughts in general. If you have other suggestions for us, leave those below. Okay. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed our presentation, please subscribe. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right. Take care, folks.
See you later.